right in the middle of one of the biggest races in the world, the Chili Bowl Nationals out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is the inside lane, taking you a little bit inside of what's going on Arizona-wise out in Oklahoma. I'm your host, Devon Henry, and joining us to talk about the Chili Bowl coming off of his prelim night on Wednesday. It's been about 15 years since he's been there, but still it seems like he's getting right back in the seat, almost like he did way back when. He is a 3-time Hank Arnold Memorial winner, a 2-time Arizona Sprint Car Association champion, and a 2018 member of the Arizona Motorsports Hall of Fame class. Driving the Ashley and Laura Corey number 40 in the 34th annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals from Mirage, Arizona, it's the Wiz Kid, Eric Wilkins. Eric, thanks for joining me, man.
Well, thanks for having us.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on. Been watching you, as you know, the majority of my life, way back in the day at Manzanita Speedway. But like I mentioned, 15 years, and you're finally back to the Chili Bowl Nationals. A little bit of highs, a little bit of lows. You had a great heat race on your Wednesday preliminary night, and then kind of got messed up, tangled up in your B main, and then the qualifier as well, dropping a couple of spots. But how would you rate your first night back to the Chili Bowl Nationals?
Well, like you said, the highs and lows of the Chili Bowl are. I was probably more nervous yesterday than I haven't been that nervous in a long time. Just you don't know what your expectations are going to be and how the outcome of the race is going to be as well. So, yes, we were third high point after our heat race behind Rico and Brad Sweet, and they even spelled my name wrong. It was kind of cool. So and then you go into the qualifier with we're trying to just make it out of there to get to the A main and not have to run the B main, and kind of battling back there with some guys that are trying to do the same thing as you, of course, but I'm trying to play it somewhat safe and stay out of trouble so I can transfer, and some of these other guys had some other things in mind. So got car spun right in front of us, we got caught up in it, and then it put us in the B main. We got in another altercation on the first lap of the B main, and that took us out of the night. And you're riding high there for a little bit, and then you really want things to go well, and it doesn't go your way. And here we are now. We got to run in the later races of Saturday, and which would be earlier races, I guess. So it's not what we wanted. We wanted a little bit more. Of course, you want a little bit, you're going to take a little bit more. The expectations are higher, so.
And of course, so much has changed over the last 15 years, technology-wise, race-wise. It sometimes feels like the average age has went down quite a bit in the past decade or so. But was there anything when you went in, whether it's just getting to Tulsa that first night or racing on Wednesday night, anything that kind of surprised you with how much is different?
Well, the cars are. A lot of it's the shock package that comes with it, and I got a crash course in it because there's a lot more to it now than there was back when me and your dad were racing. So, so that was a learning curve. The cars, the motors put out more horsepower. This was a brand new car, a Stewart car that Mickey Meyer and Jeff Slinker put together, and they got a few cars here this week, and. So that's brand new. Ashley and Laura Corey and their whole family, Ashton and Cody, they put together a real fine piece of equipment, and they got a brand new Honda motor that kind of unproven. There was just a lot going on. They got an older driver that's kind of like a rookie coming back here for being out so long, and that was my first time in a midget in really 15 years. So this whole year for me has been, one of those things where I wanted to race again. I didn't know if we could be competitive, and then we were, and then, every time you get a little bit or get a little bit better, you want more. So I just kept, increasing. I got hooked up with Bob Rim Jr. earlier this year, went out and, wing 360, and they're really fast. And so that was an adjustment there. And then, but they kind of helped me for running a non-wing 410 once there at the Western, or a couple times this year, and then getting in the midget the speeds to me are not as severe as like that is, or was. So that's why the adjustments, not too bad on the speed wise. It's just getting used to the feel of the midget, and they're twitchy. They're really, you barely move, and it does a lot. So you just got to adjust and adapt. And I guess the biggest word there is adapt. So.
Speaking of my old man, you and your teammate Jeff Henry and the Michael Burkhart entries back in 2005 both made it into the B main, and as I mentioned, one of the biggest races in the world, 350 plus the world's best drivers. Is there anything that you can take from '05, whether it be race structure, mentally for you, something about the cars that you can take from 2005 and apply to this year when you take the track on Saturday?
No, I mean, it is a little different position. We were able to transfer out of our qualifiers, our prelim nights, right to the B main. Now we're going to be trying to come up from the other mains, and a lot can happen, just like last night. And a lot of this is, it's not so much, you got to be talented and you got to have good equipment, but a lot of this is on luck. Maybe if you put a percentage to it, maybe 60 to 70% luck. Things got to go your way. You got to stay out of trouble and advance. And but you got to get after it from the get-go. You can't mess around. You got to go. So I do have Mike Burkhart flew in yesterday to help us out with the setups, and that was a major deal for us yesterday because he got us in the ballpark right off the bat, and we were. Gain your confidence in the car and motor and in yourself mainly. Well, at least for me, because I feel like I'm a rookie again, right? So, you're just trying to, at my age now, at being 51, it is a little harder on your body, and it's harder to keep up with the young guys that are just, they get out of the car and they don't even look like they raced, and I'm, a little older now, so it takes me a little bit to recover. So, but I am having fun, and of course, along with that comes you get more serious about it, want to do better, and I kind of just call this like a return. It's not really a comeback, just returning to racing, and want to pick up where we left off. But it's been a lot of time and effort on my part to get back in the racing shape. Does take its toll on you though. So
in 2019,
not easy, right?
Yeah, in 2019 has been the great return of Eric Wilkins into racing. Ransom non-wing for Michael Burkhart, and then, of course, for former Chili Bowl driver, former competitor in the ASCA, Bob Ream Jr., running his wing sprint car. It's all about fun. You said that you wanted to come back. How did this all come together, though, when at the start of 2019, how did you get together with Bob Ream Jr. to not only get in that car, but why then did Eric Wilkins say yes?
So at the tail end of 18, I just in December, my buddies, they've always keep pushing and, hey man, why don't you drive again? I want you in my car and stuff. And those buddies being, John Grau and Mike Burkhart and those guys. I'm not going to say they pushed me. I'm the one that ultimately said, all right, let's do this. And when I did decide to do it, we just took off and ran, and they got me hooked up with the bullet there, and Bob is a unique individual. He's really he's meticulous, and he's a good coach. And he had to teach me how to drive the wing. I haven't ran wings since the mid '90s, and but we ran 410 wings, and the 360 wings this time around is probably as fast as the 410 wings were back then. So. I think the speed, getting used to that was the biggest learning curve I had, and then making sure that we keep the air on the wing. That way the car stays loaded in a certain position. That way you can get around the corners a little bit better when you're running flat out. So, and then we went to different tracks. You got to learn the tracks all over again. I think we ran maybe twice at Tucson, never at ET. Run Canyon again, and then Manzi's out of the equation, and then Casa Grande, and ET and Arizona Speedway and Central Arizona Speedway and Tucson. They're really fast tracks, and you keep a lot of air on those wings, and it helped us a lot. So Brian Swinehart and these are all I'm surrounded by guys that I used to either race against, or they've been involved with racing as drivers themselves that are not racing and driving now. So to get hooked up with all these guys, that's the coolest thing about all this, right? So to me, they all have a passion for racing as well as I do, and as much. And I just think that I think that's the best feeling for me is to, I've had a lot of people come up, and older guys that were involved with racing years ago, and they just love it, that we're back out there and trying to, just do the best we can and pop off a couple of wins here and there, and that's neat for me. So I love it.
First year back, 2 wins in the ASCS Southwest Series, so a pretty good thing to hang your hat on. Even didn't race a couple of races and still ended up mighty fine in the points series. But to close things out, I do want to talk about any solidified plans in 2020 coming up.
I want to do a little bit more racing, just to stay in Arizona pretty much. But they got wing and non-wing divisions there. There's 3 Arizona or sprint car divisions, and I want to do the wings, continue with that. I want to do the non-wing 410s, and just those 2 schedules alone will keep us busy throughout the year. The wings, to me, I like it probably the most out of all of them, but they haven't had a good car count all year, and they don't run enough races in Arizona, and you got to do a little bit of traveling as well. But between the 2 series, you can stay busy all year long. The wings have about a 2 to 4 week, periods where they're not running in between races, and I like to, if you want to do this, my window. I don't know how long I'm going to continue doing it, but I don't think the window's very big here, and I just want to take the most opportunity to do as much as I can while I'm going to do it,
Absolutely. Before I let you go, got to do a segment I do with every single driver. It's called Quick Time. Got some rapid-fire questions for you. Some of these are factual. Some of these are just your opinion. And I want some rapid-fire answers. Ready to say quick time, Eric?
All right, let's go.
All righty. Favorite track to race at? Past, present, I don't know, I guess future. That's a bad way to put it, though. Favorite track regardless of car that you like to race at?
Manzanita's half mile was the best.
Any favorite memories that come back from you from Manzanita Speedway?
Sure. There was a Friday night race that we won with the wings. I think it was the SCOA sprint cars at the time. And then the very next night we took the wing off, same car, changed the axles, motor heights, bars, all that, and we won with the SCRA, which is the USAC West Coast, which is CRA. So back-to-back wins with the best of both Arizona and California guys at the time on Manzanita's half mile. That was probably the best.
Yeah, sounds like a good weekend. How about some history for you? Name me the last Chili Bowl winner from the state of Arizona. Bonus points if you can name the year.
Well, I thought it was McSpadden, but I think it was McSpadden.
6 years later, Billy Boat.
Oh, that's right. Boat did it.
1997.
I think that's 97. There we go.
Yep, that's the one. Last thing for you, is there a favorite driver at the Chili Bowl that you like to watch? There's 359. Can you pick one and go, that guy right there? That's probably my favorite here this year.
Well, it's Larson, right? But our teammate guy, Jake Swanson, I pull for him probably the most. But Larson's the guy that's this thing's been, it's eluded him, and he's due. I mean, broke a motor a couple years ago, lost it on the last lap last year. So, the Chili Bowl is the best of the best that come out here, and it's the hardest race to race, and it's also the funnest. You know what I mean? So it's great.
One of the biggest races in the world. Doesn't matter what kind of car you're driving. The 34th annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals on Saturday. The Arizona Hall of Famer has a little bit of alphabet soup to go through trying to get back to the B main where he finished the last time he was there in 2005. Eric, thank you for your time, man. Appreciate it. And, of course, pulling for you come Saturday night, or I guess maybe afternoon. It depends.
Yeah, there you go. Saturday afternoon. Hey, thank you so much, Devon, and say hi to your pops, okay?
Absolutely. Glad to have Eric Wilkins on the inside lane. Be sure to keep it to sports360az.com for all your Arizona motorsports updates.